A lot of leaders, entrepreneurs, and bloggers are tweeting and texting about retreats, leadership retreats. So let's talk about this, because a real leadership retreat is not a vacation. It's not an escape. It's not a break from responsibility. And it's certainly not a time to just get away, relax, or have fun in the sun like a lot of folks seem to believe. A real leadership retreat is a thought-provoking and decision-making environment. It's a place designed to help leaders, entrepreneurs, and highly capable individuals step out of reaction mode, regain perspective, and think clearly and logically enough to make better decisions about what really matters. That's the real purpose, and it's necessary because most leaders don't struggle simply because they lack effort. They struggle because they're too close to the action. They're in the trenches on a daily basis. Bombs are exploding, sirens are going off, and they're too close to the noise, too close to the demands, too close to the interruptions, too close to the pace and the drive of everyday life. And when you stay too close for way too long, clarity disappears. You get shell-shocked, but you're still moving, you're still working, and you're still responding. But you're no longer seeing as clearly as you once did. That's assuming that you once saw things very clearly. That's why leadership retreats matter. They create strategic and much-needed separation, and that separation gives you something most leaders and entrepreneurs rarely have, and that's an isolated space and time to think, surrounded by thought leaders and influencers who challenge and spur your thinking on a higher level, because you're the leader of your operation, and your success depends on your ability to think and perceive higher. Now, when most people hear the word retreat, they often imagine something soft, vague, intangible, or overly relaxing. And some entrepreneurs and business owners have been misled as to the usefulness of a retreat. A real leadership retreat is not about stepping away from the day-to-day business. It's not about taking a vacation or finding a tax write-off. It's about strengthening your ability to lead and survive in today's economy, where everything comes down to your leadership and decision-making. A retreat is where you go to reassess direction, evaluate what's working, identify what's misaligned, and make better decisions about how you proceed to what's next, or how do you overcome what's already here, the things that you're already going through on a daily basis. So a real leadership retreat is not about avoidance of responsibility. It's about recalibrating to move forward, and that matters, especially for a success-minded or success-oriented individual who's a leader or entrepreneur. So let's talk about what actually happens at a leadership retreat. First, a leadership retreat creates a distance from the normal environment, and that matters more than most people realize, because environment shapes behavior. Your normal environment comes with patterns. The same locations, the same routines, the same demands, the same mental loops, and the same old distractions. They all equal the same old patterns. And when you stay thinking in the same old environment, locked and trapped in the same old patterns, you continue thinking in the same old way. That's a pattern, and it's a problem. A retreat interrupts that pattern and brings a solution to the problem. It gives your mind enough room to step back and witness the bigger picture, the larger concept. Second, a leadership retreat creates space for honest evaluation and conversation. That's something many leaders avoid or overlook until it's too late, because life moves fast. So it's easy to overlook or stay busy enough to avoid the deeper and more introspective questions and conversations like, what's no longer working in my life or leadership? Where's my plan broken? What am I tolerating for way too long? Where am I unclear? What am I carrying that no longer serves or fits where I'm going? Or what decisions have I delayed for way too long? You see, a retreat gives you a place to surface those questions, where leaders share different answers and responses and different perspectives. And that in itself is powerful. because clarity doesn't always come from having more information. It comes from having enough time and stillness to share the truth and hear other perspectives, different perspectives. Third, a leadership retreat creates room for strategic thinking and planning. Not just random thinking, not vague reflection, and not emotional wandering. Strategic thinking and planning. This is where direction is clarified, priorities are reordered, noise is removed, and decisions become clear. A good retreat helps leaders identify what matters now, what needs to stop, what needs to be strengthened, and what needs to be installed or designed right now in the moment. Fourth, a real leadership retreat helps you install structure, not just insights. And this is where the difference really shows. A week retreat gives you a temporary emotional boost. It's like a motivational conference. You come home energized, but the energy, the motivation, it soon dies out. But a powerhouse event, a powerhouse retreat, a real retreat, a strong retreat helps leaders and entrepreneurs leave with clear priorities, stronger decisions, and a more structured way to advance forward. That means we define focus, better sequence, clear commitments, and a more highly developed execution framework, because insight without structure, like motivation, it fades, and it quickly fades. But insights that get organized more effectively during the retreat become more useful when you depart. Clarity becomes momentum. Fifth, a leadership retreat often exposes what your daily life has been hiding. And this is possibly one of the biggest reasons a leadership retreat is important, because in this period, a leader or entrepreneur can step away and realize they get to think. I've been reacting more than leading. I've been busy, but unclear. I've been carrying way too many priorities at once for way too long. And I've been operating without enough structure to support the level of success I really want and desire. That kind of realization is valuable, not because it feels good, but because it's visible, it's tangible. And once something becomes visible or tangible, it can be addressed. That's what a leadership retreat does well. It reveals, it clarifies, and it guides you, or it gives you a chance to reorder. Now, you may be thinking, who actually needs to attend a leadership retreat? And here's the big aha. Because usually it's the person who feels mentally crowded, has too many moving pieces, needs to make meaningful decisions, has lost perspective, or who knows they need more clarity before they can continue building or pressing forward. But in reality, it's not just for leaders and entrepreneurs who feel burned out. It's for leaders and entrepreneurs who understand that clear thinking is a part of their leadership responsibility. That's why at Powerhouse Motivations, we view a leadership retreat as a strategic imperative, a strategic environment. It's not a luxury or an escape. It's a strategic setting for realignment, better decisions, and stronger structure, because stepping away strategically is not weakness, it's wisdom. But it's wisdom built on proven methods of success. So no, a leadership retreat is not about escaping life or responsibility. It's about creating the condition necessary to lead better and execute stronger. That's the difference. It's not conformity or comfort. It's clarity, not escape, realignment, and not just rest, but better decisions. And when those decisions are clear, structure becomes easier to build, execution becomes easier to sustain, and leadership becomes easier to carry and maintain. If you're at a point where you need thinking that's more clear, decisions that are more strategic, and a structure that's renewed or stronger for what's about to come or what you're currently experiencing, that's exactly why strategic separation and leadership retreats matter. And if you want to go deeper into the framework or the kind of framework that helps leaders move from clarity to structured execution, Explore the 9-step life transformation system and our list of powerhouse leadership retreats using the link below. You do that. I'll see you next time.